Assistant Director, Local Authorities Department, Minister of Finance, Audit Division, and you're welcome.
Honorable Member for Mitete.
Chair, good morning to you and Chongwe Municipal Council, you are welcome. It's a bit hard. No wonder we never transacted business yesterday. You may wish to understand our position. So even today, please do understand us. It's not easy. There's a dark cloud over the institution. You are welcome. I'm Mutelo Mishek, your real humble servant. MP for Mitete and a member to this committee. Through you, Chair, we have a number of acting. I leave it to you, sir. Thank you.
Chongwe.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, Chongwe Municipal Council. I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency in Pedagogy District of the Eastern Province. You're most welcome to your committee. Thank you.
Mangango.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning to you. Good morning, fellow honorable members of Parliament. Good morning, Chongwe Town Council. Morning, our permanent witnesses. Good morning, our viewers and the listeners out there. Thank you so much for your support and for following Parliament TV and radio. We always value you as National Assembly. I'm Mwene Luhamba, Member of Parliament for Mangango and a member on this Local Government Accounts Committee. Thank you, Chair.
Doctor.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning to you. Good morning, my colleagues, honorable members of Parliament. Good morning to our dear Secretariat, our permanent witnesses. Good morning, Chongwe Municipal Council, and you're welcome to your committee. I'm Honorable Dr. Singombe, representing the people of Dundumwezi in Kalomo Southern Province. Thank you.
Siavonga.
Thank you very much. Good morning, permanent witnesses. Chongwe Municipal Council, good morning. Morning, my colleagues. Good morning to you, Chairperson. My name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. We've also been joined by one from AG's office. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Simon Munyama from the Planning and Research Department under the Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you very much, Acting Town Clerk. As it has been observed or noticed by Honorable Member for Mitete, apart from your office, why do we still have acting? We have seen acting procurement. Where is the substantive?
Thank you, Chair, for those observations. With regard to the procurement officer, unfortunately, she passed away last month. So,
sorry.
Yeah, yes, sir. So we have written to the Commission, and then for the Director of Finance, she retired 2 months ago.
Okay.
Yes, so both positions are, that's why we have people that are acting. There was one demise as well as one retirement.
Okay. No, well noted. We are comforted that Chongwe is a municipal council and you are equal to the task and you are a team. And you have been on top of these issues of CDF. As you have been following us, our interest is to see how you have been utilizing the CDF, enhanced CDF, that has been favored to all local authorities or constituencies by our government or President of the Republic of Zambia. Especially our interest to be looking at the 3 principles are we implementing the projects within the time frame, also at the right cost, and also the quality? Then all that will be coming from your report, nowhere else. So we'll be testing those areas coming from what you submitted to this committee. So it is not our own dreaming or our own making. So we ask you from the report that you have submitted to us. The other thing is that we value so much, acting town clerk, as a municipal council. The status of a municipal council is not that of a town council. But when we look at your report, we don't know if we'll be counting pages or they're supposed to be numbered. That is not the case. Some of the reports, like Dr. Sengombe will tell you that the pictures in his report, they're in black and white. So we wonder the inconsistency. So in case we want to refer to a page, what would be your guidance to this committee, acting town clerk?
Chairperson and members of the committee, I wish to just apologize. It was an oversight. We did also notice after we had sent the report, and I kindly ask if you can bear with us, if we can number the pages together so that we'll be able to follow.
Not a problem. You can guide us.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we do have the cover page, and then the first page, which is written as, which is has specific audit findings. So that is page 1.
It's page 1.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Then the next page is page 2, where we have management response at the top. We go to the third page, which is it has pictures at the top showing a completed ablution block at Muyembe Primary School. That can be numbered as page 3. Page 4 follows. At the top we have as at 7th March.
Just sorry.
Yes.
Muyembe is page 2.
Muyembe is page, yes. No, page the first page is the one where we have specific audit findings. That's
yes.
Page 1.
Health post is Kwamwena.
Yes.
That's page 1.
That's page 1.
For me, the next.
Then Muyembe is page 2.
Page 2.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Then where we have Kalimasenga Primary School, that's
page
3. Yes, sir. Then page 4.
The next one.
The next one. Page 5 has Njolwe Clinic.
Njolwe Clinic, page 5.
Yes. Then page 6 has Eastern Primary School. That's page 6. Then page 7. This is where we have youth and women empowerment loans.
Correct.
Then page 8 has implementation of unapproved activities. Then page 9 has table 2 of the implementation of unapproved activities. Then page 10 has administrative costs, failure to remit VAT. Then page 11 has cross-cutting issues. Then page 12 follows, total of unspent funds, appendix 2. Then page 13, appendix 2.1. Then the following is page 14, unspent funds, empowerment grants. Chair, the other page, we can ignore it, it's a repetition. So we jump to the next page, which is secondary boarding and skills development. That's page 15. Page 16 is appendix 12. Page 17, appendix.
Page 16 is appendix C.
Page 16 is where there's appendix 12.
4, not 2.4. These appendices.
Or to
There.
Appendix 3, 2022 community projects, that's where there's page 16.
Let me guide acting town clerk. Appendix 2 is total unspent funds.
Yes.
What page is that? How do we number it?
Okay. Appendix 2, total unspent funds, that's page 12.
That is
Page 12.
yes, 12. Then next one is it?
Then the next one, it's Appendix 2.1, unspent funds, that's page 13.
Okay.
Then page 14 is Appendix 2.2, unspent funds.
14.
Then I said that where there was Appendix 2.3,
It's a repetition?
it's a repetition, so that one we can cancel that page.
Okay.
So that the next page 15 is the one where there's Appendix 2.4. Then Appendix 16 is where we have, page 16 is where we have Appendix 12. Where we have Appendix 12 is page 16. Oh, Appendix 3. Oh, okay, sorry. That's the Appendix 3. Okay, I beg your pardon, yeah. So Appendix 3 is where we have page 16. Then where we have Appendix 4 is page 17. Where we have Appendix 8 is page 18. Appendix 9 is page 19. And where we have Appendix 10 is page 20. Chair, the next page is page 21, where we have action taken. Then where we have Appendix 12 is page 22. Where we have Appendix 13 is page 23. And the final page is page 24.
We are done?
Yes, please.
We have numbered them. They go up to 24, isn't it?
Yes, please.
Correct. So, Town Clerk, with that done, I would like to ask you to take us through your report.
Okay, thank you, Chair. May I be allowed to just read the query?
Yes.
The action taken?
Yeah. You read the title of the query,
Okay.
then you go to management response, which is action taken, then
Remedial measures.
remedial measures.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chair.
Okay. You can, I see you straining yourself. You can pull a mic direct to yourself, yes,
Okay.
so
Thank
that you are
you.
comfortable.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, for permission to begin. Our first audit query is failure to commission completed projects, specifically health post in Kwamena. Action taken by management. The council has since handed over the health post and has included the procurement of the furniture equipment in the 2025 CDF allocation. Remedial measures, Chair. The council, before that, sir, if we could make reference to Appendix 1.
What you do is read as it is. We have read the report.
Okay.
So we shall ask you. Just read as you have written.
Okay.
Then we shall make follow-up questions, or maybe we shall make questions after that.
Okay, thank you. Remedial measures. The council will ensure to continue budgeting for equipment and furniture on projects. The second audit query is failure to commission project, in particular ablution block at Muyembe Primary School. Action taken by management. This is on page 3. The council has since handed over the ablution block at Muyembe Primary School. Reference is made to Appendix 2. Remedial measures taken are that the council will ensure to hand over projects as soon as they are completed. The third query was failure to commission project, in particular the waterborne toilet at Karimasenga Secondary School. Action taken by management. The waterborne toilets at Karimasenga Primary School have since been commissioned and are currently in use. Make reference to Appendix 3. Remedial measures by the council is that the council will ensure to hand over projects as soon as they are completed. Chair, for the school being commissioned, I wish to make a correction. It has been earmarked for commissioning. It has been earmarked for commissioning. We go on to the fourth query, which is delayed completion of Njolwe Clinic. Action taken. The project has since been completed. See Appendix 4. Remedial measures by the council. The council will continue to supervise contracts to ensure a timely completion of projects. The fifth query is delayed completion of a teacher's house at Eden Primary School. Action taken by the council. The project has been completed and is in use. See Appendix 5. Remedial measures. The council will continue to supervise contracts to ensure timely completion of projects. The sixth query, management of youth and women empowerment loans. Failure to fully utilize the empowerment grants. Action taken. The council has since paid the clubs in question and replaced Twabola Women's Club with Nguzi Mali MPC. See Appendix 6. Remedial measures. The council will continue to verify the account details of applicants at the point of submission. The next query is implementation of unapproved activities. Chair, there are 14 in question. And the action taken by management is that the council engaged the beneficiaries to write to the CDFC, which is the Constituent Development Fund Committee, to seek approval for the projects implemented during monitoring. The projects have since been approved. See Appendix 7. Remedial measures taken by the council. The council will continue to sensitize the community on the procedure of changing approved projects and to monitor the implementation of projects. The next query is on administrative costs. Failure to remit VAT on fuel levy. Action taken by council is that management has since engaged the supplier to show evidence of compliance. See Appendix 8. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that all withheld taxes are remitted. Chair, we now move on to cross-cutting issues under B. And the first query here is on underfunding, specifically retained funds amounting to 115,000 kwacha 881.
We made corrections on that one.
Yes.
The actual amount is supposed to be 28,198,221,
Okay.
and not the one which is there.
Okay.
So take note.
All right. So see Appendix 9, and the action taken is that the ledgers for the council have since been updated, reflecting the deduction at source. Remedial measures: management will ensure that all funds deducted at source reflect in the books of accounts for the council. The next query under Appendix 2 is on unspent funds. We make reference to Appendix 10, and the action taken by the council is that management has since spent the funds in question, and remedial measures are that management will ensure that all the funds budgeted for are spent under that financial year. Chair, we continue with Appendix 2.1 with unspent funds under community projects. Action taken is that the council has since spent the funds. We make reference to Appendix 10, and the remedial measure are that the council will continue to spend within the allocated budget line. We move to page 14, unspent funds on the empowerment grants. Action taken by the council is that the council has since paid the clubs in question. Reference is made to Appendix 6, and remedial measures are that the council will continue to verify the account details of applicants at the point of submission. We skip the next page, which was cancelled, and we move to page 15. Here we have a query on boarding and skills development bursaries, an unspent amount of 1.561,335 kwacha. We make reference to Appendix 11. Action taken is that the council has since paid the outstanding amount of 1,561,335, and the remedial measures are that the council will continue to spend as soon as verifications are done. We move to the next query under Appendix 2.5, which is unspent administrative costs. We make reference to Appendix 12, and the action taken is that the council has since spent the funds, and remedial measures as that the council will continue to spend within the allocated budget line. Under Appendix 3, Chair, we have a query of outstanding projects yet to be completed. That's a total number of 11. Action taken is that the council has since completed all the 11 outstanding projects, and we make reference to Appendix 13. We next move to Appendix 5, where the query is on unspent funds for youth, women, and community grants. Action taken is that the council has since paid the clubs in question. We make reference to Appendix 6. Remedial measure is that the council will continue to verify the account details of applicants at the point of submission. The next query, Chair, is under Appendix 8, which are performance analysis of soft loans, where there's an overpayment, or the query was an overpayment of soft loans. The action taken by the council is that the loan disbursement was done as the guidance was released from the Ministry of Local Government under circular, the stated circular on 24th March 2023. We make reference to Appendix 4, and the remedial measure will ensure to disperse the loans once funds are available. Under Appendix 9, Chair, there was failure to recover loans. That was the query. And the action taken by the council is that the council has since recovered a total of 970,790 kwacha, 43 ngwe, and we have also served the beneficiaries with demand notices. We make reference to Appendix 15, and the remedial measures are that the council will continue monitoring and engaging the beneficiaries to ensure continued repayment of loans, as it is a revolving fund. Furthermore, the defaulting beneficiaries shall be reported to the police. Chair, we're still on page 20. We move on to Appendix 10, where there was a query of the low number of graduates from boarding school. Action taken on page 21 was that the council conducted field monitoring and evaluation, which revealed that the 148 secondary school pupils had graduated as depicted in the table below. And the remedial measure is that the council will continue to monitor the progress of these students and update the database. Chair, we're still on page 22, where we have Appendix 12, and the query was on the beneficiaries of the skills development bursaries not pursuing skills development courses. Action taken is that the council has since engaged the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for further guidance. We make reference to Appendix 17, and the remedial measures are that the council will continue to consider applicants that have applied for TVET listed skills development courses. The next query on Appendix 13 is on unspent funds under the procurement of desks. The action taken is that the council wished to state that the funds have since been spent, and we make reference to Appendix 18, and remedial measures are that the council will ensure that the retention amount withheld is paid once the defect liability period expires, with no defects on delivered desks. Chair, the last query is under Appendix 14, page 24, which is the delivery of substandard desks. Action taken is that the council engage the contractor to work on the defected desks, which have since been worked on and rectified. We make reference to Appendix 19, and the remedial measures are that the council will ensure that the desks are inspected at the production center before being delivered to the respective schools, and that the defect liability period is extended to 5 months. Chair, I submit the report from Chongwe Municipal Council.
Thank you very much, Acting Town Clerk, for that wonderful submission. It's now time for honorable members to make points of clarifications. I'll start with Honorable for Siavonga, then I'll come to Mangango.
Complicated question on page 12 and page 14.
Page 4?
Page 12, sir.
12 and 14. Let's go to page 12 and 14.
This is total unspent funds amounting to 8,498,452. If you look at the management response.
You are reading from page
12, sir.
12.
Yes, I was
okay.
On the table, the unspent funds, or the balances of the 1st December 2023. Management response. Management acknowledges the Auditor General's findings on the total unspent funds of 8,498,452, which was as a result of delayed funding and ongoing community projects and retention on completed projects. Action taken, management has since spent the funds. On page 14 is unspent funds empowerment grants. Management response management acknowledges the Auditor General's findings, and however the unspent funds under grants was as a result of wrong account numbers submitted by the clubs. Action taken, the council has since paid the clubs. So, Chairperson, my simple question on that to management, Chongwe Municipal Council. These are questions to me that I feel these are questions that you can settle with the auditors. Why didn't you indicate to the auditors that all these monies you are seeing, like 8 million, this money is for unspent, the ongoing, maybe the delayed funding from the project and the money that belongs to community projects and the retention. This is the money that we are seeing in the account. Because the auditors queried, why do we have this unspent money? What was difficult to explain that this money is for these purposes that you have indicated here. On page 14, the same. If the money is committed, page 14 unspent was 111,800 kwacha. But this one basically is because they submitted wrong accounts. The clubs submitted wrong accounts, and this money was already allocated to those clubs. So what was difficult to explain that so that the matter is dropped and it's not brought on the Auditor General's report? Chairperson, I thank you.
Town Clerk.
Thank you for that question. Indeed, there was, I think there's nothing difficult. It was straightforward, and I think when the auditors do come, we do give them the responses, but we have no control what they bring to this house.
So what you're indicating is that you gave these responses to the auditors and they refused to drop them?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we do, when they do come, we do respond according to the facts that are on the ground at that time.
So what do you mean by that statement, Tanka? We are asking you a specific question. What happened? The honorable member is saying you could have given this response to the to the auditors, and what you are saying that you do give them, but you have no control what comes out. Meaning what? A short one.
Town Clerk.
Your mic should be off.
Town Clerk, you should not ignite fire over your responses. This is a very simple matter. So are you insinuating that actually, even all these queries that the Auditor General has put in here, you had given responses, they just decided to bring them back? Is that your insinuation?
No, sir, but...
because I believe before even come...
Switch off your mic. Until I guide you, that's when you respond.
There is an exit management meeting with the auditors. So when you submitted to them, you should have seen, auditor, there is this thing that is still outstanding. Otherwise, I think we resolved this one on the exit meeting with you. So if you bring other things, it will create things that you will fail to answer. Thank you.
Yeah, before I ask Honorable Mwene, I mentioned earlier, us as a committee, and I always mentioned, we take these matters very serious. And if you look at your report genuinely, and we want to take you through, that there is lack of seriousness on the part of council management of Chongwe Council. Now you are starting with that note, on that note, and with that response. To us, we want to find out from you, why didn't you bring this issue to the auditors? You have unspent funds, which you said this money was already committed to projects. Now, you also have money that was not paid to clubs, and you have said that those clubs were not paid because they submitted wrong accounts. At which point did you realize that these accounts were wrong? We are looking at January to December 2023. And our assumption is that you were audited in a period somewhere May going 2024. Before the auditors came to Chongwe Council, you didn't know that these clubs submitted wrong accounts? And if you realize that submitted wrong accounts, what measures did you take before auditors visited Chongwe Council? Town clerk.
Okay, maybe first I would like to maybe withdraw my earlier statement and then allow us to just, I think, with your permission, just go through the question again.
I hope you are withdrawing because you realized you
Yes,
made...
it was
Not that we are forcing you.
No, not
We want to learn also,
We
as just hold until you switch off your mic. You see, this committee is not involved. Even now, auditors are going around councils. We are not there. Do you understand where we are sitting here? We are only called that this is what the report is, and we start reading it, the revelations. Now, if this is the case that you and the auditors, you had that interaction, please don't accuse auditors. Auditors merely come to check compliance. And you have an opportunity. You report for work every day to deal with these issues, and you are paid for that. So you can not have even a query if you are doing the correct thing. So now that you have withdrawn it, we move forward. I will ask Honorable Mwene.
Thank you very much. Before I come to my question, I just wanted to find out how long the TC has been acting, when she came into office to start acting as TC, and then secondly, whether she has appeared before this committee even before she was TC. Just
let me help. Yes,
help us build up something from
no, that was done in the preliminary issues. She's acting substantively. She's director human resources, isn't it? Administration.
Director planning, sir.
She's director planning, that she's acting because Chongwe Council was suspended, and the town clerk is one of those that are not in the office currently, so she's still sitting in as a director planning, isn't it? Correct. If you have been following, I will indicate to you. Let's just proceed with her. Our assumption, just before you come with your substantive, they have not answered Honorable Mulunda and my follow-up. Our assumption, and we are lucky that you are the director planning. CDF is in your office, planning and engagement. Now that you are acting, we are dealing with CDF, you are the right office. Because the council secretaries or town clerk, normally they don't sit in CDF meetings. So we have the right team, Honorable Mwene, to interact with. We have finance there, we have audit and procurement and others. So let's respond to Honorable Mulunda's questions. Why didn't you clear these queries when auditors visited your council? Further, I added a bonus there. At which point did you realize that these clubs had no account numbers? You can ask your colleagues to help you.
Thank you, Chair. With your permission, I'll ask Acting Director Finance and DPO to assist with answering those questions.
Director Finance.
Thank you, Chair. On the unspent funds of...
Please, we have guided.
Yes.
Just pull it anyway.
Okay,
Pull the mic. Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Chair.
You can pull it again towards you. Correct.
Thank you so much, Chair. On the unspent funds of 8 million, we do acknowledge, Chair, that this could have been an oversight on our part. During audits, we should have availed this information because it was with us. We acknowledge that we should have done that, Chair.
So what is the issue? Why is it appearing that 8 million was unspent? According to this report, what is what are you telling this committee about this 8 million? According to the auditors, this money was unspent for the period January to December 2023 for Chongwe Municipal Council, what do you tell this committee? Why was it not spent?
Thank you so much, Chair, once again. There are two issues actually involved in this matter. The first one is 4 million out of that 8 million was only received on the 29th of December 2023. This was meant to be funding for 2023, Chair, and it came on the 29th at the very end of that year. So unfortunately, Chair, the money could not be spent during the year, obviously because time had lapsed. This money was prudently and quickly spent in the following year. We have bank statements, Chair, to prove that.
Appendix?
On the Appendix 6.
Let's go to
Appendix 10. Appendix 10.
Let's
Chair.
go to Appendix 10. Where are the bank statements?
Chair, when you go to Chair, when you go to Appendix 10,
yes,
the bank statements
is the
second document.
Okay.
The second document.
These are numbered. Can you be specific which transaction? I've seen this statement is numbered.
Yes, Chair. Chair is on page. It's on page 3, Chair.
Page 3?
On page 3. On the 29th of December, there's a 4 million which was received from Ministry of Finance.
29th of December. There's a 4 million. 4,536,965. That's the one you're talking about?
No, 4,423,309.92.
Oh, 4,423,309.92.
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
So that amount came in at the very end of the year.
Of the year?
Yes.
So out of 8 million?
So 4 million is out. Because that was only received on the 29th. We have
noted.
Yes, the other 4 million share was tied to ongoing projects. And I wish to state at this point, Chair, that if you go to the next page, if you go to, not the next page, if you go to the last page, on the 8th of May 2024, on the 8th of May 2024, the balance in the account was about 524,000. Now, if you look at that amount, Chair, and right underneath, there's an amount of 9,822,673. Now, the story is this, that, Chair, this council, even though we had unspent funds at the year end, moved very quickly to implement, to spend this money before the funding for 2024 was received. Chair, the funding for 2024 was received on the 8th of May, and at that point, only 524,000 remained in the account. This, Chair, represents about 2% of the total funding for the year. So we did have unspent funds, yes, but we moved very quickly and prudently to try and finish these monies.
Jeff, whilst you have explained very well on the 4 million which was received in December, on the other money, about 4 million plus, that was highlighted by Honorable Mulunda. There is no justification as to why this money could not be spent in the year 20, unless you show us projects that were procured towards the end and they were being financed. If you have been following your friends or other councils, they will highlight ongoing projects. This one, you even mention them and attach figures.
Yes.
You get a point?
Yes, yes.
So we are not able to pick the 4 million, the other 4 million which you have spent up to May 2024. And the moment we are going to justify late expenditure, then we are going against the instructions of the government. Government says within the financial year, that money that has been committed to projects within the financial year and is received in your accounts on time, you should spend on them. Because we know that procurement of projects is not subject to funds. Even now, you have already procured projects for 2025. You procure them and you finance them as the money comes in. So it's not a justification, acting director of finance, that no, look, we spent prudently. And when you say prudently, then we start wondering, because this money should have been spent. If projects are being supervised, followed religiously by director engineering, director planning, or whoever is involved, supervising the contractors, those projects were supposed to have been completed. Now, we shall demonstrate to you of the challenges that you are having as a council on the projects. From page 1 to about page 9, you see the problem which is there? Lack of supervision. On the other 4 million, you have explained very well that this was received on the 29th of December. Yes, you can give a justification. But the other monies, why was not spent? The other question before I ask Mwene is, you said that you did not have account numbers for the cooperatives from January to May 2024. From January 2023, you could not follow these cooperatives. You don't know where they are. Can we have a response? DPO.
Chair, sorry, before DPO comes in, I would like to ask Director of Engineering to sort of look at the 11 projects where the money was being spent, the other 4 million.
Just show us the appendix.
Thank you, Chair. In the same appendix 10, the first page actually has a list of projects, Chair.
Okay. So as we look at these projects, DPO can take us through why these cooperatives could not, this matter could have been rested.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we do acknowledge that there was a bit of a lapse in time from the time that the clubs had submitted the wrong account numbers. But you must bear with, I'm sure, the communities that at the time that they submitted, the numbers were indeed wrong, but then they had to open new account numbers. And from their explanations, if you look at the clubs that we're looking at in question, they're in far-flung areas. And they needed, from their explanations, they needed time for them to ensure that they have everyone available in order for the new accounts to be opened. But as a local authority, we did try to engage them to ensure that we push them into ensuring that they submit the correct account numbers. But it was an issue of them having to open new account numbers, because apparently the ones that they had put were not correct numbers. They were just numbers that they had put there on the forms.
So you are justifying that 18 months is a good period for a club which is in a far-flung area of Chongwe Council to amend. I'm talking about May, being May almost June, or May, let me 17 months. They couldn't submit these account numbers because they're in a far-flung area. So if that is a justification you are trying to confirm, what is your role as an office with that CDF monitoring vehicle? What did you do to ensure the money was sitting? Because you see, this money is given. Government has no money. He's trying. The money, according to the basic economics, the money is not enough or is scarce. So the money is given to us to give a cooperative or two cooperatives. Then you are saying that they are in a far-flung area. So that from January to December 2023, they couldn't meet to come up with a new account. Then from January to May 2024, again, they couldn't do that until auditors came in. That's when now you are saying they have since submitted the correct thing. Is that what you are telling the people of Zambia and the people of Chongwe?
Chair, I think the time space is not the 18 months.
17.
I think it's by far less than 17, Chair.
Why I'm saying so, it had to take the auditors. Unless you guide us, at which point did they correct the auditors came to Chongwe when?
In July, Chair.
In July. So it is more than that. July which year?
2023. 2024, sorry. July 2024.
So from January 2023 to July, can you count for us?
Chair, if you look at the period when we got the approvals for the particular clubs and when we received the monies from the ministry, I beg I would need to find out the exact dates, but I don't think it would come to the 18 months. Sorry, Chair. It was less than 18 months.
So what is the reasonable period for you? Even this money for clubs came in December 29? On December 29?
Finance maybe can assist me with when exactly we received the money, but I think the period is not the 18 months. That's a much
You could be the only council that is, because even now, Chasef has already given grants. Money for grants, loans, and bursaries is given one of the priorities. Am I lying? Maybe in Chong, town clerk, or DPO.
Let me just probably ask Director of Finance to indicate when we received the money, but I think 18 months is not the period, sir. But allow me to just mention that we do use...
Assuming it's 6 months, is that good?
It's not good enough as well, Chair. The best probably would be the least possible time that we can have. But we do try to use the vehicle that we have at hand to get in touch with these clubs and in these communities.
Next question. Honorable Luamba. Then
thank you so much,
come
Chair.
this way.
My next question, Chair, is coming from page 1. Failure to commission completed projects. This is a health post in Kwamwena here, somewhere by Munali. Failure to commission a project, also ablution block at Muyembe Primary School there. Failure to commission a project, waterborne toilet at Kalimasenga Primary School. Chair, also I think those 4. I just would like to find out, Chair, what the problems with the Chongwe Municipal Council have been for them to fail to commission these projects that have been built with using government resources, CDF, completed, but just commissioning to make them accessible and usable to the general communities was very difficult. What has been the challenges that you have been facing as a council? And then what has been on your mind thinking of denying people these services that they could have enjoyed from the government for this very long period of time, almost 2 years from the time of construction, because these structures were starting in 2022, okay, coming all the way commissioning has been taking place in 2024, somewhere there. I submit, Chair.
Town Clerk.
Thank you for that question, Chair. I think for the first one, which is the health post, that one, what was budgeted for initially was just the construction of the health post, and then it could not be used because there was no furniture. That's why in the appendix 1, we've included it in the 2025 CDF projects that we're going to furnish this particular health post.
2025?
Yes, sir.
So it couldn't be finished. It started in 2023. You built it. It is not commissioned because you did not budget for it even in 2024. Now that's when in 2025 you want to budget for it to have it furnished so that it is commissioned, probably 2026 from 2023. Is that a good thing? Who does the planning? And maybe who does the planning, such planning? What happens?
The project proposals come from the community through the WDC, and then the CD.
A follow-up, Honorable Mutero. Let me ask Honorable Mutero for a follow-up.
Thank you, Chair. We appreciate the Town Clerk. The query is commissioning. When do you commission? Or what provokes commissioning? Where is the engineer? Yes, sir. To commissioning. What provokes commissioning? Or how does commissioning come about?
Engineer.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable. In this instance, commissioning is supposed to be the moment it's commissioned, it's officially in use. So for the said building, since there isn't furniture there, we couldn't commission it to the community because the equipment, the medical equipment was not there.
Let me help before you come in. I just want to read them so that for the public to know and yourselves. Failure to commission completed projects. Health post in Kwamwena. I don't know how many months you calculate. This is commissioning from the time the project was completed. Number 2, failure to commission project ablution block at Muyembe Primary School. You check the months, how long it has taken. The other one is a failure to commission project waterborne toilet at Kalimansenga Primary School. This one has taken 18 months. In the second page there, this one is on page 5. As at 31st July 2024, the project had stalled and delayed for a period of 18 months. In addition, the contractor was not on site at the time of the visit. 18 months. This is the question that has come from there. I wanted you to know. So Honorable Mutero can ask, and so that the engineer can now follow what we are talking about.
Chair, I'm opening for the third time. Allow me to extend my heartfelt condolences to our officer who passed on. And then to the one who has retired, let's hope we'll do the nitty-gritties. You know what happens when you retire. I've gone to the appendix on Kamwena, just on Kamwena. Let's go to appendix 1. Engineer.
Let's go to appendix 1.
The handing over was done in which month?
It was done in June
In
2024.
In June. And then certificate of completion in which month? Just the next page.
23rd December 2024.
How do you understand that? You do the handover in June, certificate of completion December. Liability period just within that letter. Engineer.
A bonus. You were audited in July.
Yes, we'll come to that. Liability period in that letter. I'll help you. 30th April 2024, 30th October 2024. Certificate of completion, December. If you were you looking at this letter, we come that side. You
are
come
here.
here. What would you say?
Engineer.
All of us are mourning. We are equally mourning. You are also mourning. But now there's a letter like this one. What would you say? And this project is coming from November 2022. And it's a clinic. What would you say? Town clerk, engineer, your team.
Leave them to respond.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We are mourning.
Town clerk, engineer.
Thank you, Chair. I think the dynamics of the clinic have been a bit different because at the time we were constructing the project, we were meant to believe the moment you hand it over to the health department, they'll bring in equipment. But eventually it was noted that it wasn't happening, and that's how we actually ended up adding equipment to be funded for it. However, by the time we noticed that...
Respond to the question first. We don't want you to talk... your mic off?
Thank you.
We are not talking about furnishing it. The questions are very specific. According to this report, this was handed over in June, on 7th June 2024. This is your letter. Signed for Damson Mukwato, the one who signed, I'm sure, is one of you. You signed that this project was handed over to the community in June. Then the completion certificate is dated 23 December. That means this project has not yet been, according to the letter, the certificate, it means it has not been completed. But you are saying we handed over. Now, looking at the liability period, in your own letter, 30th April 2024 to October, how do you reconcile these dates, engineer?
Thank you, Chair.
To put it straight, which comes first, a completion certificate or handing over or handing in a project? Or was this project handed over without the issuance of full completion of what? Certificate. That's all I need. Or maybe, to simplify, there is a mix-up. I'll repeat. 30th April 2024, 30th October 2024, liability period. Here, even the liability period is done what? Finished. The contractor is out of
Cleared.
the work. Then now you issue a completion certificate in December. To who?
Engineer.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think that's why I had started with the furniture, because we believe that when we hand over the projects, that's when furniture would be brought in. So the completion certificate was given after the end of the defects liability period, because once we hand over that certificate, we pay the defects liability period, the contractor is off the hook. However, the handover to the, if you notice, this handover was to the ministry, not to the people. For the people, and that's why we have the official commissioning chair. I don't know if I...
Engineer, when we say that you are not helping this country, we sound to be unfair. These are only reports. Do you go through them? Even yourselves, you are just startled. That's why I said we want now to go into the detail to show you that what you are doing is not a correct thing for the Municipal Council of Chongwe. The other question, Engineer, is it was a bonus one. Maybe I ask before I ask Dr. Mwanza, then Mwene. The issue is you handed over in June. Auditors came in July. Why didn't you show them that this project you are querying, delayed the commissioning, we have handed over? Why?
Chair, we did, and they still mentioned that it will come up because that is not yet in use, and because of the furniture, Chair.
You are the second person to point at our report. We are worried. I'll ask Dr. Mwanza. We are still coming to the dates. Your own report.
Thank you, Chair. On the same one.
Honorable, just a minute. We've just been joined by another Honorable Member of Parliament for Usakiri. Honorable Pavyuma, welcome. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to you. Morning, Honorable Members. Morning, Secretariat, or our permanent witnesses. Witness, good morning and welcome to this committee. Thank you. I'm Kalowa Pavyuma, Member of Parliament for Usakiri constituency, Kitwe in the Copper Belt.
Thank you. Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. Just a follow-up on the same.
Engineer, pay attention, and everyone.
This project at the Kamwena Health Post, it was the scope of work involved the superstructure only. So it means there was already intention to construct a health post in Kamwena area, and so either the community or maybe it was a full contract, you already constructed up to slab level. So the CDF came to pick it up from the superstructure until the finishes. How would you plan to issue a full works contract without incorporating furniture? More especially that the intention to have had this health post in Kamwena area was there a long time ago, because that slab, I'm not so sure how long
it has been there.
It has been there. So you decided just to give the civil works contract without considering the furniture. Why? Furthermore, the time period for construction of the superstructure was only 3 months. The project delayed for 1 year, 9 months or something like that. And you could not even apply resources from the 2024 budget, because the completion period was the 11th November, February 2023. So you had an opportunity in the 2024 to allocate furniture to make the health post operational, more especially because of the intention, the need for that particular health post in that area. This is not a complete new construction. There has been a slab before. Why did you not consider to go at a supersonic speed when you had all the resources and you had all the background that the community needed to have that health post? Thank you.
Thank you. Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. In response to that question, I think, Nick, as we indicated that moving forward, I think earlier we mentioned even in our remedial measures, we've seen the need to be combining the furniture as well as the structure. But I think in the past, it has been a case of the CDFC trying to spread out the available resources so that each ward benefits. So I think the thinking could be that this ward will benefit a clinic, but if you have to also include the furniture, of course they need to mean another ward will go without. But I think we've taken note of those observations that have been made, the importance of combining it.
Sorry to disturb your, we have gotten what you are talking about. Where we are seated here, we follow religiously directives from government. I don't know why you, as a council, you don't follow. There has been some advice that once you embark on a project, it should be handed over, completed, unlike the previous arrangements. And this was across the entire country. Now, you are submitting to this committee that you didn't budget for furniture to hand it over because you thought other projects would suffer. Why? Which one would you take? The government directive or presidential directives, or your own arrangement at Chongwe Council? Which one would you take? Further, this was a project started in 2022. As Dr. Mwanza has indicated, the people in Kwamwena saw the need for a health post. They saw it. That's a pressing issue. And they hear that there is a government that is giving huge sums of money. We shall have our health post. But for you, that's when you are talking about budgeting for it in 2025 for furniture. From 2022, is that the prudent way of managing the affairs in that particular area? Because if you look at this, we have a problem. And even 2025, there is no guarantee. Other pressing issues may come up. You can even avoid it. So a slab that was started maybe in 2022, maybe it started in 2021. You have done piecemeal work, then again you want to abandon it. It's not commissioned. Vandalism will move in. This property will not be the same. Our assumption is that this property will not be the same. The wear and I don't know what you call depression, wear and tear, or depreciation. Depreciation. Although property, they rarely lose much in terms of depreciation, but that will be an issue. The people are not using it. It will be money wasted, town clerk. You as technical advisors of the council, what is your role? Maybe you can respond to that.
Thank you for those observations, Chair. And I think indeed, as you have guided, we need to follow the presidential directives. And I think learning from what has happened in the past, moving forward, this is the advice that we will be we render to the CDFC committee.
Honorable Town Clerk, on page 2, action taken. What does that mean? Together with the engineer, I must appreciate that in terms of gender, Chongwe Municipal Council at least has more of our female than men. We are doing well. Action taken. What is it saying on page 2?
Town Clerk, you can read for us. Just read what is there.
The action taken that the council has since handed over the
Has
health.
since handed over. Now, your engineer was explaining different things. When you say has since handed over, meaning whatever was there is now done. But the mix-up in dates, the inspection was in September. Now you are telling us has since handed over in June. Chair, that's the problem I have with their answers. They have since handed over. When did they hand over? June. When was the inspection? September. What is the liability period? 30th April to 30th October. When all these 2024 with Chongwe Municipal Council and the engineer, that is okay.
Before you respond, let's go to Appendix 2. Appendix 2. Appendix 2. Town Clerk, I will ask the Director Engineering. Read the letter and the date. What is the date there?
Thank you, Chair. For Appendix 2, it's Muyembe, ablution, 15th July. The letter is written to Minister of Education, handover of the community project, ablution block at Muyembe, sir.
The date is 15th July, which year?
2024.
Go to the second letter there.
15th July, completion certificate. This is a letter to the contractor, 15th July 2024.
Read the last paragraph.
The works carried out by the contractor will be taken over by the council within 7 days of the date of this certificate. The defects liability period in respect is 15th June to 15th January 2025, Chair.
The works carried out by the contractor will be taken over by Chongwe Municipal Council?
Yes.
You took over the very day you handed it to Minister of Education?
Yes, Chair.
And this is the completion certificate?
Yes, Chair.
When the liability period expires, when?
In January, Chair.
2025?
Yes, Chair.
You have handed over a project, that liability period. How do you understand by these completion certificates? What is a completion certificate? Maybe we learn from Chongwe Council.
Thank you, Chair. So we've got two completion certificates. One that is given before the defects liability period for the last payment, which will leave the 5% defects liability period, and one that is handed over at the end of the defects liability period. Where we have no defects, it's given direct. Where we have defects, the contractor has got back on site to rectify those defects, Chair.
Which ones are you, these which are here that we are going through? Okay. These are which ones are on the two you have mentioned?
Okay, thank you, Chair. So for this particular one, for the Muyembe one, the defects liability period is after the certificate. So this one still has the defects liability period in active, Chair.
So the final completion certificate to be done in 2025?
Chair, for this particular one, it was actually done in January, but we didn't include it on this one, period, because we didn't think it would be, the question would come up. Chair, sorry for that one.
We just read what you write to us. Would you show us most of these projects where some of them terminated? Correct? One or two?
Specifically, maybe, Chair, if you can guide me, then it would be easy for me to answer, Chair.
What I wanted to, Dr. Manza, as I look for that. Okay, that's one. It is delayed. Oh, it's a delayed completion. Would you show us the stages of payments to these contractors before the final? This is final completion certificate. You have said this one, you would call it interim?
Yes, Chair.
Or a final, which final is this?
There's okay, I could say there are two.
How would you define these certificates that you do, especially the ones we are referring to?
Okay, for like this one we have at hand, it will just be completion. Then the one that is given after the defects liability period, it will have the word final completion, because it will have.
This one is partial.
Yes.
So would you show us the financials of these projects? One of them, pick one of them. What payments were done, the IPCs, at this point that you are handing over to the Minister of Education with this completion certificate, because a completion certificate should have its financials, that so much was paid, and these were the IPCs paid to the contractors.
Thank you, Chair. Under Appendix 10, we've got an example of them, Chair. Appendix 10.
Appendix 10, which copy? We are on Appendix 10. I see most of them are vouchers, but towards the end there.
Yes, Chair, towards the end you find an IPC and the report attached, and so those are the.
Read for us. We are all the men, so. Which one? For which project?
Chair, the first one after the bank statement is a payment for construction of ablution block at Luvansa, for example.
No, I'm talking about these three.
Oh, okay. So I look for specifically these three. Then
yes, I will give you time to do that.
All right, thank you.
Then, before I ask Dr. Mwanza, I will ask, these payment vouchers are not audited. The space for auditor is not marked. And we hear that you are guided that you don't do pre-audit. You should be doing post-audit. At which point do you do post-audits? All of them. If there is one, you can show me. Town clerk.
Thank you for that. I think at this point I can ask our Chief Internal Auditor to guide us on that.
Chief Internal Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. The post-audit is done after the project has been completed. That's when we do the post-audit. But during the processes, we do pre-audit. That's why on the part of pre-audit, you see that is signed.
So, at which point do you do post-audit? So this project, I will pick one. Chamacho Civil Engineering. Just pick one. This is dated May 2024. This project is still ongoing. In reference to these which were done, Chief Internal Auditor, which ones have you done post-audit?
Chair, most of these projects, we've not done like the post-audits because we normally follow the stages. As they are making payments, we normally visit the sites. Before they make the payments, that's when we visit the projects.
So most of the projects are 2022. You took them on 2023, 2024. Now we are in 2025. Most of these, I wanted you to show me one where I've done post-audit.
Chair, I think among these ones, there's no one that we've done the post-audits.
You see all those challenges. The weak internal systems are the ones that has contributed to all these problems we are facing. Because our belief where we are seated here is that people are employed like the auditor to follow up on these issues. And it's not true that this bunch of vouchers, I've gone through them. There's nowhere where you have done the post-audit confirming that the project is finalized and is closed and is handed over, or whatever reason. Nothing is done. And yet it is a requirement. Acting director, engineer, and finance, and everyone. These are not simple omissions. These are serious issues. And if resources are not well managed, this is where we have a problem. No magic. Are we doing the correct thing? The answer is no. Delayed completion. Let's go to page. Before I do that, Honorable, we welcome you. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and good morning. Good morning, my honorable colleagues, and good morning, our permanent witnesses. Good morning, our secretariat. Good morning, Chongwe, and you're welcome to your committee. My name is Elliot Kamondo. I'm a member of parliament from Fumbwe.
So, even before the delayed completion, I wanted the town clerk, the engineer through the town clerk. We go to Appendix 3. This Appendix 3 is Kalimansenga Primary School, ablution block. The handover was done on 2nd May 2024. The completion certificate was done on the same date. These are the things that we have been questioning. You are handing over, then you are signing a completion certificate without financials. So as you look for those financials, we want to see how you are closing these financials on each project. Then let's go to the delayed completion of Njolwe Clinic. Allow me, town clerk and members of the committee, to read the third paragraph. This was a project that was started on 3rd November 2022. Town clerk. 3rd November 2022, you gave a company called the BKB General Dealers for construction of a clinic and water recreation at Njolwe at a contract price of 690,034, with a completion period of 12 weeks commencing on 3rd November 2022, ending February 2023. 12 weeks. And the scope is there. As at 12 September 2023, the contractor had not been paid amounts totaling 434,660, leaving a balance of 255,374. A physical inspection carried out in September revealed that the project had not been completed. The outstanding works, plumbing, solar installation, floor decoration, others, As at 31st July 2024, the project had stalled and delayed for a period of 18 months. In addition, the contractor was not on site. The other one, delayed completion of a teacher's house at Eden Primary School. Why did you award BMK? Oh, this is BKB and BMK. You have said that the completion, the project has been completed, delayed. I'm combining the two. Delayed again, completion of the same project. Why do you have challenges where resources are there, projects are taking long? 18 months after the expected period or termination of one contractor. Town clerk.
Thank you, Chair, for that question. With regard to the delayed completion, these were instances where the works would commence, but at some point or other, the contractors would abandon the project. So I think as management, we've realized that maybe there's just that kind of lack of understanding with some of the local contractors on the, what is expected of them and so forth. So we are pleased to report that these have been completed, of course, after some time. But I think moving forward, we're doing more engagement with local contractors, because some of them, I think there's just maybe a lack of, I can say, understanding. So we've been engaging them in the hope that moving forward we'll see an improvement in the construction. I'm not sure if that has answered the question.
The problem is you come here to answer. You're not doing the correct thing. We expect you to do the correct things. Where is evidence of your engagement with the contractors?
Though, Chair, it was not submitted initially because that meeting just took place last week.
2025.
2025.
From 2022, when we had the enhanced CDF.
Yes.
Do you think the people in that area would appreciate CDF if this is the pace at which you are working?
Yes, that's why we are putting things in where we're trying to enhance what already has been there.
Your friends were not putting things in order.
They were. We're just adding to what they had already done. They did their best, sir.
They did their best when they could not engage until last week, when you heard that you were coming to this meeting.
No, that was already in place. We had, I think, even when we were doing the field appraisals towards the end of last year, we did decide that let's, I think, improve on the community engagement. We shouldn't just wait for the time before the funds come out. We should engage.
Dr. Manza.
The same one. Maybe. What type of engagement did you have last week concerning this project at Chongwe Clinic? Second question is, this project had ring-fenced 690,054 kwacha to do a complete new construction of a health post. In the process, that is 1 year, 7 months after the completion date, the contract was terminated for BKB, and you engaged another contractor who has since then completed the works. The second contractor was awarded at a price of 332,000 411 kwacha to complete the outstanding works in 3 months, which also took a bit longer. The question on these financials is that the first contractor, BKB, had a balance of 255,374. You engaged the second contractor to complete the works at 77,037 kwacha above what was in the closing balance with BKB. Where did you source the top up on this particular contract? This contract has suffered, one, completion time. It has taken too long, maybe more than close to 2 years. Secondly, you are even forced to source some funds to add up to the second contractor. This second contractor, you are explaining the delay due to, on page 5, you are saying management acknowledges the auditor's finding delayed completion of Jolo Clinic, which was as a result of the contractor abandoning the project. The initial contract was terminated and re-advertised, but the procurement process delayed due to non-response from contractors until the third time when the contractor responded. I want to know when Chongwe Municipal Council started using the EGP system of procurement. Chair, I stop here for now. I'll make follow-up after the answer.
Correct.
About the EGP.
Town Clerk. You should coordinate. Help your town clerk. You're a team.
Thank you, Chair. Though the time that they started using, I wasn't around yet, but they started last year in, should be April.
That's when they started using EGP?
Yes. It should be last year, April,
Maybe.
March. I'm not sure because I wasn't there when they started using. I joined in April, so I found that they had already started.
Switch off your mic. Town Clerk, when did you join Chongwe Council?
In June 2024.
2024?
Yes, sir.
From where?
From Lusaka.
Lusaka City Council. Director Engineering?
I've been at Chongwe for 2 years, 6 months now, sir.
From when? You don't know when you reported to Chongwe Council?
I know the number of years, but it's about 2 years, 6 months. I've been there for
You know
2
why
years,
we're
6
asking?
months.
Director, help your committee. Yes. Your reporting date, you cannot skip your mind. Why we want to establish whether we are engaging the people who have been there. You came from where, Director Engineering?
From Chipata City Council, Chair.
From Chipata.
Yes, Chair.
Auditor, when?
30th November 2022.
Okay. Director Planning, is it DP? Is she with us? Are you here? So you can't get me, I'm talking to you.
Sorry, Chair, you said DPM, DPO. So I joined in June 2023.
June 2023. Director Finance?
Chair, I came around December 2024.
Okay. Why we have asked you this? You have never heard of EGP. You are coming from other councils. The question from Dr. Mwanza, when did Chongwe Council start using EGP? The procurement is saying they started last year, is it? She said what? What did you say? April. That they started in April.
I joined in April, but I found them, they are already using the system, so I'm not very sure when they started using it. But the time I joined, I think they were new. That's when they were starting to use the EGP system.
The acting town clerk. EGP was it piloted or it was across the country? Even you don't know. Yeah, we are in trouble.
It was across the country, Chair.
EGP was rolled out across the country. If you, as officers, you are not aware that Chongwe has been using EGP, if Ichasefo has been using EGP from that time, there in Eastern Province at the corner, they are near Chama. But you are wondering, you have never heard of EGP. So, Dr. Mwanza, let's have, you already asked a question. Engineer, tell us the financials about this project. There was a top-up of 77,000 kwacha. The first contract, BKB, was terminated. The amounts, you know them. After termination, another contractor was procured. 300 and something. Now, when you do the arithmetic, there is a 77,000 kwacha shortfall. But addition, you added the 77,000 kwacha. When you look at the totals there, in finance help, we are looking at the same report. When you look at that 77,000 kwacha, where did you get that 77,000 kwacha top up on the same project?
Thank you very much.
And the approvals?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. At the time when the first contractor was given, the project didn't have a borehole and water electrification. So that project, which was supposed to be done by another contractor for water rectification, it was added together with the new contract. So the project is now complete with water rectification.
We are not going to that stage first. We want to deal with the boreholes, additional scope, rescoping. Can we have the variation order and the variation order and the authority from the CDF committee and also from the government? Because whatever you do, additional, subtraction, you have to seek authority and document it. Can you share with us, Director Engineering? Minutes of the CDF committee meeting that authorized that variation.
Okay. Sorry, Chair, we didn't prepare, but it's on the list of the approved projects for the 2024.
We know.
Yes, sir.
You see, Director, we could have called you by phone. Switch off your mic. I indicated when we started, the unfortunate thing, we are dealing with public resources. Here, it is not a story of you, we know each other, we talk to each other. No. Produce evidence. We are evidence-based committee. We don't want to be cited to be unfair. If you know that you did the variations, bring the authority of the CDF committee authorizing you all the processes. That's what your friends do. You are a municipal council. Show us. Even the list you are talking about, how do we see that list? Where is the list? So we want copies of the CDF committee approvals. We want you, the application now, clearance from the authorities that now you can do the variations, and we want you to show us how you uploaded that on the EGP, who was a contractor, this new contractor was given additional scope. Bring that, that's the information that we want.
Noted, Chair.
Dr. Mwanza.
So, if we go to page 5, now Appendix 4, there's more.
Let's go to page 5.
Where are you reading?
Oh, yes, sorry.
We have numbered them ourselves. The report was not numbered. My apologies. Honorable members, for the sake of progress, we could have sent them away. Looking at the report is not a good report, but we need to make progress so that tomorrow they know even themselves as they go back whether they're doing correct things They couldn't see these reports that were not numbered. They were coming just like that.
Okay, Appendix 4.
Appendix 4.
The fourth.
Let's go to Appendix 4.
The fourth page. Project termination for construction of clinic in Njolwe. This is BKB Investments.
Yes.
That was initially awarded the contract. And management wrote on 4th March 2024 to BKB Investment Limited. The correspondence sent in accordance with the GCC of the contract between Chongwe Municipal Council and BKB Investment. Basically, it is saying, accordingly, the contract is terminated and Chongwe Municipal Council is not responsible for any balance due to BKB Investments Limited. So this is a letter that the client wrote to BKB to terminate a contract for abandoning site for more than 28 days. So it says, please sign a copy of this letter and return it to us within 7 days of receipt. The question here is, where is the response from BKB? 1. 2, we want to get guidance from procurement. A contractor who has abandoned site for more than 28 days, yes, you go to the GCCC, which is general conditions of the contract, and then you terminate based on this clause. You terminate the contract. The conditions for termination should involve financial closure. There is need to terminate the contract, and you invite the contractor to do financial closure. But here, the statement saying, accordingly, the contract is terminated and Chongwe Municipal Council is not responsible for any balance due to BKB investment. In accordance with the GCC, which is the general conditions of the contract, when you terminate a contract, are you not supposed to reach financial closure with the contractor? And if so, why did you put this clause here in this letter? Then the second contractor was contracted, but the delay on the project is attributed to non-responsiveness of the contractors that participated in the first tender, and so they re-advertised. It was the third advertisement. That's when the contractor was responsive. That is how they contracted this Silax to do the construction. Now, I want to understand the fairness of this second procurement process. Second procurement process for the completion of this Njolwe clinic. On the same Appendix 4, you will go to memorandum to Chongwe District Procurement Committee, which is actually a tender evaluation report. When they advertised, so now it goes to the question when I asked about EGP. So this tender was advertised on the 28th June 2024. You can see on page 2 of the tender evaluation report. The pages there, so page numbers. It was advertised on 28th June 2024, and 3 contractors were invited. Mixed Waste, Uwambu, Lufusa, multipurpose. So the tender closed on 19th July, and the bid process, they only received 2 bidders. They only received 2 bids. The other one, Mixed West, did not submit. They went on to do the evaluation, and this Uvumbu was, he passed throughout until the financial evaluation at the end on page 6.
Correct.
Where he became non-responsive because the reason attributed to the non-responsiveness is that at financial evaluation stage, the failure by to attach completed BOQ. So they did the pricing and checked everything. So at the end, they saw that the bill of quantity was incomplete. Chair, the introduction of EGP is trying to address some of these issues where before contractors would submit manual bids, and at evaluation time procurement would remove some pages and create a reason to say this contractor failed because he did not submit,
completed BOQ.
Yes, or he did not attach workman's compensation, or it was difficult to verify because these documents at bid closing, they are in the procurement office. So sometimes EGP, the BOQ comes from the client, which is a solicitation document, and you do it online. So there's no way that a contractor would submit a complete bill of quantities. But he can supply, he can submit certain criteria that are attributed to his qualification as a company. For example, he can miss a tax clearance certificate. But the BOQ, bill of quantity, is generated by the client to inform the bidders. Why did you not go ahead to award this bidder? More especially that the BOQ are supplied by the client, and there is no way that a BOQ would not be submitted in its complete form. The third one, on the same procurement, so the result was that the bid was cancelled because of the reason that the BOQ was incomplete. Then, so they re-advertised. That is buying time. They re-advertised. This time, the evaluation report is following on the same appendix.
I hope we are following.
Page 2. On page 2 of the the second evaluation, you invited 4 companies. You invited 4 companies: Ecosam Development and Trading Limited, Agada Construction Zambia Limited, Silax Home Construction Limited, Kaka Hydro Construction Limited. And at the time of closing the tender, only one bidder submitted, which is Silax Home Construction. And they went ahead to do the evaluation up to financial stage, where this bidder was awarded the contract at 2,000, which is the last page, 2,411, which is 77,000 kwacha above the funds that were reserved for this particular project. So the question that I have now in terms of procurement for this second procurement is, Chair, on page 2 of the second bid evaluation, the bid evaluation report, the flotation period is only, on 9th September 2024, so tenders were re-advertised for the completion of a clinic in Njolwe. And the tender closing on 13th September. There was only 4 days. You float the tender on 9th September and you close on 13 September, 4 days. And the result is that only one bidder, Silax, submitted out of the 4 that you invited. Question is this flotation period, tender flotation period of 4 days, in line with the ZPPA procedures?
Thank you.
Because sometimes maybe you applied to ZPPA for very quick, reduced flotation period. Where is that authority for 4 days? Because this is very suspicious, because that is as a result that only one bidder submitted within the 4 days. How do you explain this?
Town Clerk, before we allow the procurement officer to come in this team, how many were there during this process of procuring this project? How many were involved? Engineer, you were there? You are the only one. Behind there, you are not there? No. Town clerk, acting town clerk, you are not there. Okay. So, engineer, you help us. You have another unanswered question. I'm sure it is the same that Dr. Mwanza has asked. As any project, as you terminate, it should have closure of finances. You agree with the contractor. As we are layman, you are technical, you know, but we have come to master this. We learn through the work that we are doing. If you wrote to this contractor, BKB, you just produced a letter of termination. What was his reaction? He needs to sit down with you, not only answering. He needs to sit down, you close. Say, okay, at this point, this is the amounts that was paid. I agree. Then you go. But you have put a clause there that we have nothing to do with you, we are not going to pay you anything. Where do you come up with such statements? It must be civil, because you have engaged and you have agreed. So those are some of the questions that we want you to respond to as we wind up.
Thank you very much, Chair. On the letters, what led to us writing and things like that was because the contractor didn't seem to be very cooperative. Even after the warning letters, he didn't come back. So we're forced to put a closure that he won't come back after that.
Sorry, Director. Our expectation, as I say, that you people, the learned people, you understand. You don't need to be personal in these positions. Is that a normal language, or is that a normal thing? On your own, you have not engaged someone. You cannot put up a statement like that. You are professionals. Honorable Pavyuma.
Thank you, Chair. On the same chair, this contract was worth 690,034. As at 12 September 2023, this contractor was paid 434,660, leaving a balance of 255,374. Chair, at a time when the council was trying to put up a closure on this contract, did you do evaluation in terms of the percentage he received and the amount of work that was done? If you did so, where is that report? Because here, Chair, I've noticed carelessness, because they were doing a closure without taking into account the amount of work in relation to the amounts received. That's why it led them to award a contract, which was more, 72,000 more than. So why that carelessness, making government, just losing government resources like that without any care? So who's going to pay for that extra 72,000 that you topped up on the next contract? Who's going to pay for that money? Thank you very much, Chair.
Before you respond, Engineer, and the dear colleagues in the council, you see, as it was said in the morning, our expectations on your offices, you are qualified people who are determined to do the best in your offices, and we are asking you specific questions because we want you to demonstrate to us your professionalism, your application to such issues. Now, if you are at sea or you are wondering why we are asking these ourselves here, then yourselves, you don't even have responses. You have a problem. We have a problem. And this country will have a problem. So we want you to respond. You are professionals. Respond to these omissions. Is BKB a local contractor in Chongwe? Town clerk.
Yes, he's a local contractor.
In Chongwe?
Yes, sir.
The director engineer is saying that they can't locate him, they can't engage him. So, director engineering, help this committee as we conclude. Satisfy us. Where are the financials? Closure. You agree. Then the amount of work done, look, DP, the amount of work done by this contractor at the time of him abandoning site, you evaluate because you are professionals, trained. Then you look at this, oh, this is how much we paid this contractor, and this is how much work has been done in terms of quality and also the scope. Then you call this contractor. Can you come here? So far you did A, B, C, D, and we have paid you this. And you see, according to us, the director engineering, this we have paid you more than the works that you have done, or we have paid you less. He will claim to say, no, you still owe me, because if you look at these works or scope, I've done more than me. I'm owed the 20,000. You agree, you negotiate, and that is what we call financial closure. And you indicate at this time of project, this was the amount that we agree before you float it to the next contractor. So help us, director engineering.
Thank you very much, Chair. However, I wish to apologize that I didn't come with the IPC for the specific project, but I can still speak to it that we only paid him up.
We can't take that. No, we are an evidence-based committee. How do we believe your story? All the projects here have no IPCs. Those all of them which were appointed by Honorable Mwene in the morning when we started, there are no IPCs. We go through this report. Tell us about the other things, not these things. These are omissions. You keep on apologizing, and you get now trained how to apologize. And this committee will be wasting time or resources if we just call you to come and apologize. This year you come and apologize. We sincerely apologize. What did you do when you are in your offices? Answer the other questions from Dr. Manza.
So the other one, Chair, is the same question you had asked, where we wanted to know where the other money will come from. That has to come from the list of the projects that were approved for 2024. But
variation order?
Yes, no, it wasn't a variation order because it was a new contract altogether. So it was just rescoped to include the other project that was approved for 2024, which had the water reticulation for the same place, Chair.
Authority from the CDF committee?
Yes, Chair, it's there, but we didn't come with it today because it wasn't one of the questions that was asked. However, for the Kalimansenga...
Yes, Minister of Finance, Chair, Zamstats and your team, you're welcome to this meeting of the Committee on Parastatal Bodies. That is a continuation of the consideration of the Auditor General's report on Zamstats for the period ended 31st December 2031. We went up to page 15 and we will proceed from page 15 going forward.
Let's adjourn for
And thereafter-
tea break. 10 minutes, we come back.